This is a complete block diagram of a single phase STATCOM. I have placed and made all the connections. Now I'll tell you each and every components I have used and their values that I have given. I'll start with the grid voltage. This AC voltage source I have taken from the library. Peak amplitude set as 325. Frequency I have set as 50 Hz. This is the voltage measurement block used to measure this voltage. And I have labeled this voltage as V grid using a goto block. This is a current measurement block used to measure the current supplied by this grid. And I have labeled this current as I grid again using a goto block. This is the load I am using. Currently I have placed an RL load of resistance value 15 and inductance value 45 millihenry. And this is a current measurement block used to measure this current. So I have named this as I load using a goto block. This is the filter inductor. The value I have used is 4.2 millihenry with a series resistance of 0.001 ohm. And this current measurement block is used to measure this current. But remember here that this direction of this measurement block I have put is this way. So the current direction is from the inverter to the grid. And I have named this as IINV using a goto block. These are the IGBTs which forms the inverter bridge. And at the gate terminal of each IGBT, I have connected the PWM signal. Here this is PWM1, this is PWM2, this is PWM3 and this is PWM4. This is our DC bus capacitor. Value is 0.001 ohm and capacitance is 3000 microfarad. This voltage measurement block measures the voltage across the DC bus, and I have named this voltage as VDC using a goto block. This completes the power circuit of the single phase STATCOM. Now this is the PLL that I have explained in one of my previous video. I have explained everything in detail, how to design, how to put values for all these components used in that video. You can refer and I will leave a link in the I button. So how this is like V grid from this point is connected to this point, and after all these calculation we will get two signal. One is cos omega t which is aligned in phase with the grid, and sin omega t which is aligned in 90 degree apart from the grid. So these two are the output of phase locked loop. Now we'll go to the controller. This whole block is part of the closed loop control that we have designed. I start with the reactive component estimation. How do we estimate? That is how much reactive component is present in the total load current. This is a RL branch. So a part of current is active and a part of current is reactive. That reactive part is we are going to estimate using these blocks. For that I will take this I load here. This take the load current, and sin omega t, this is coming from this PLL. So this point is connected to here. So this sin omega t is the reactive component of the load current. Now use a multiplier to multiply this point. So I'll just multiply this point. Then I use a low pass filter of frequency 1 Hz. That corner frequency I'm using is just 1 Hz. And I have put two in series for a better filtering. Again both at corner frequency of 1 Hz. Then I have multiplied the output with a value of 2, and finally I got the reference. This is reactive current reference. Now I'll come to this point. This is actual controller. Here we take the VDC and we need to regulate the voltage across this capacitor, and my reference value is 400. So 400 value is compared with the actual DC voltage. So we find the difference of VDC and the reference, and we'll give it to a PI controller. This is a PI controller. The KP value have kept at 0.5 and integral value at 100. Then output of PI control is multiplied with cos omega t. This is actually the active component of PLL. And here we have the reference. This reference that we have already estimated is multiplied with sine omega t. That's a reactive component. And after the multiplication, both are added together. Both this current and added will get the current reference. This current is then compared with this inverter current. Actually, this is the inverter current. So this is connected here and find the difference. This error then fed to a PR controller. All these blocks are part of PR controller. So I'll tell you how much gain I have used this PR controller. Value of KP I have used 100. Omega, this is the KR value. KR value I have used is 4 into 100, that's 400. And this is omega R square divided by KR value, that is 986.80 divided by 4 that I have kept. Then I have two integrated blocks. These two integrated blocks are also part of the PR controller. So this whole forms a PR controller. Then finally we add the grid voltage, that sends grid voltage the output of PR controller. This value we call it as the reference. This is the final voltage reference and we use this reference for the PWM generation. So I'll tell you how do we generate the PWM. So this V reference is connected to the PWM generation block. This is a PWM generation block. This is a carrier signal where I have set this value for 10 kilohertz switching frequency, and this is a triangular carrier actually, and the lower value is -1 and upper value is 1. So this is a -1 to 1 10 kilohertz triangular carrier. So I will compare V reference using relational operators, and I will also take the negative of V reference. Actually I am using unipolar PWM technique, so we need minus reference also. So we compare positive reference and negative reference. One of the one point is taken as PWM1 and inverter of that is taken as PWM2. So this is PWM1, this is PWM2, and similarly other two signals taken as PWM3 and PWM4. These four signals are actually connected to these four IGBTs. Now I will show you what are the signals, the results. Here I have in this scope I have taken the DC. Sorry, that simulation was running already. And here I have taken this V grid, grid, I load, and I inverter. Because the direction of I inverter towards the grid side, I wanted to towards the inverter side, so I put a -1 gain here. Now this is the active and reactive power measurements blocks. So we have a grid side active and reactive power measurement, inverter side active and reactive power measurement, and load side active and reactive power measurement. Now I'll go to, this is the power guide block. Here I put discrete mode and solver testing and sample time 10 microsecond. Okay. Then I'll show the simulation settings. So I have put the solver type body 23T. That's it, nothing you can keep as it is. And finally I have put a simulation time of 1.5 seconds. So everything is okay. Now we can run the simulation. You can see the active and reactive power of grid side, inverter side, and load side. Let's wait till finish the simulation. So we have completed the simulation. So as you see, the reactive power taken from the grid is nearly zero, and the only power is taken is active only. And from the inverter, see the load taken and reactive power of 1757. Nearly the same value supplied by the inverter is not taken from the grid. Now I will show the waveforms. This is a VDC. Our reference value was 400. See, we are getting exactly 400 at the DC terminal. I show the voltage grid. So this is a V grid. And we can see that I grid is nearly in phase with V grid. They are aligned in phase with the grid. These are the inverter current and load currents. Now we'll try a different value of R and L. Now let's try 30 ohm as resistance, 90 milliamperes inductance, and try to run the simulation again. So we have completed the simulation. Here also you can see that the reactive power taken from the grid is nearly zero. Only active power is taken from the grid. And the load reactive power, that's 878, is almost supplied from the inverter, not from the grid. We'll see the DC voltage. That's again at 400. Again you can see that grid voltage and grid current are in phase. This is the load current and this is the inverter current. Now we'll see for a RC load. What will happen for an RC load? Let's put a value of 12 ohm and capacitance of 265. Now run the simulation again. So here we have now completed the simulation. The reactive power is nearly zero taken from the grid. And the active powers, the reactive power of the load, that is 2200, is nearly supplied by the inverter, not by the grid. So the VDC again, it has to be at 400. Yes. Again you can see that grid voltage and grid current are in phase. So only active current taken from the grid. This is the load current and this is the inverter current. Now we will see for an RLC load. What will happen if we connect an RLC load? So I'll put value of resistance as 13 ohms, and inductance has 20 millihenry, and capacitance has 250 microfarad. Again run the simulation. Here you can clearly see that the total reactive current that is consumed by the load is 1617, that is supplied by the inverter, and the reactive current from the grid is nearly zero. So the DC voltage will look at once again, it is again at 400 volt in V grid and I grid. See, both are in phase. These are the load current and inverter current. Now finally, before we end the presentation, let's see what happens if we connect only an active load. Say 25 ohm active load only I have connected. Run the simulation. Here you can clearly see that the reactive power consumed by the load is nearly zero. Hence the reactive power delivered by the inverter is nearly zero. The only active power which is taken from the grid. Since we don't have a reactive element in the load, no reactive power is taken from the inverter. So that ends this presentation.